encourage you guys. 3 different things I want to tell you on appreciating the grind. Number 1 is your most painful moments will become your best stories. Number 2, don't allow temporary pain to dominate your imagination. And number 3, don't find your identity in your current situation, but where you're heading. Let's talk about that real quick. Number 1, your most painful moments become your best stories. I remember being so damn broke, man, that we would argue about $5 on who didn't share to put gas money in the car that day when we were commuting to the office when we first started. I remember having to put the car in neutral on my way down this big hill to try to save gas money. We're freaking deca millionaires today, but at one point I would put a car in neutral so that I wouldn't spend extra gas in the engine. I don't even know if that saves gas or not, okay? But I want you to think about how broke you have to be thinking at that moment, let me put my car in neutral to save a little bit of gas. To worry about like the moments where air conditioning, it's like, hey man, air conditioning uses extra gas and we don't have that much gas. Put the windows down. What the are you talking about? That's how broke we were. Where it was the Subway, you go to Subway, $6 footlongs, they're not $6 anymore, okay? And we would share the freaking Subway. We'd cut it in half, and it was breakfast and maybe dinner, lunch and dinner, because you knew you didn't have the money to go eat this fancy meal, go out to a nice lunch that day. I remember taking out my mentor to a business lunch where I wanted him to network with somebody else, and we went to have sushi because that's this guy that made a lot of money, or at least back then I thought he made a lot of money. I wanted my mentor to meet him and for these guys to connect so he could help him get into the business, get on the team. And so I'm like, man, I don't know if I could recruit this guy right now. Let me take my mentor. And I said, hey, would you be willing to go do this? Yes, great. I'll set up lunch. And we go to this sushi restaurant because that's where my mentor wanted to go. And I remember, I'm not going to tell him. I'm not going to tell the other guy. I got $74 in my freaking bank account. And that day I didn't eat anything. I said, no, I'm just going to be taking notes. You guys eat. I'm just going to get some water. I just want to be able to be present in the meeting and take notes. I was freaking starving. I was so stressed out. I was hoping that the freaking bill didn't go over $74, guys. Think about that, okay? When you know what credit card is maxed out, when you're trying to go to Best Buy to get a laptop and you get denied 6 freaking times because your credit's not good enough. I remember those moments. I hated those moments. That's why when you win, it feels so freaking damn good to win, because you remember how painful it was. Let me give you the second point. Don't allow your temporary pain to dominate your imagination. There are so many times where you're just stuck in this moment. Your bills, your finances, everything's going to crap. Everything's wrong in that moment. And the challenge is that you think that moment is permanent, that failure is final. And I remember my mentor asking me a question, and he says, hey, do you remember the problems that you had 6 months ago on today? Do you remember last year's problems today? Do you remember 5 years ago problems today? He says, let me ask you this question. Will this be a problem 5 years from now? I said, no, never. He says, then why are you worried about it so much right now? It's not going to be there forever. It's just temporary. Don't get confused. Don't get overwhelmed. He says, if it's going to be there 5 years from now, then you're going to have to figure out what can we do? How do I change the way I feel about it? Because that's a real problem. He says, but most of the problems that you have a $10,000 problem. If you made 10 grand, you wouldn't be worried about that. You have a $20,000 problem. And I remember the day I made $20,000 and he called me, says, you're never going to have to worry about money again if you keep working this way. If you keep working this way. And I never worried about money again. Paid off my credit cards, put money in the savings. My life changed on one client meeting, okay? We have a video called You're One Away. You should go watch that. But at that moment, man, all I was looking at was my bills, my bank account, my credit card, my unpaid, my 60-day car note that's late, all the shit that's going wrong in my life, and I felt like it was going to be permanent. And I just thank God that I had the right conversation where my mentor was like, why are you worried? Man, and I said, man, my credit's taking a hit. Like it's gonna be late, And he's like, dude, most freaking billionaires went bankrupt at one point. You're gonna make so much money. Don't worry about it, dude. You'll pay somebody to fix your credit. You'll pay somebody to fix that, get it off, whatever you need to do. Go focus on what you can do right now. Are you giving your very best? Man, I am right now. Then don't worry about it. Shit's gonna work out for you. Okay. And sometimes you just need that reassurance that it's gonna work out. That, hey, one day you're going to laugh about it. In the moment right now, it ain't funny. You're stressed that you're going through right now. It ain't funny. One day you're going to tell these freaking stories, man, that you're going to overcome. So don't quit. And the third one, don't find your identity in your current situation, but where you're heading. I was broke and people would sit down with me and I'd have to recruit them to my agency or sell them a financial product, an assurance or an insurance policy or an annuity. And my brain was playing games with me. Why should they listen to you? They don't even know you're negative $622 in your bank account right now. Why would they even listen to you? Right? My brain's telling me that. And I'm like, man, you know what? No, screw this, right? And I had to start talking to myself instead of listening to myself. And I said, man, one day I'm going to have millions. One day I'm going to be wealthy. One day I'm going to be a leader. One day you're going to want me in your life. One day I'm going to have 1,000 books inside me, man. One day I'm going to be a leader. One day you're going to want this person as a friend. One day you're going to want this person as a mentor. So I got very clear that I wasn't recruiting you or selling you based on who I was today, that I was recruiting you and selling you on who I was going to be one day. That you're going to want this relationship in your life. And I had to understand that my temporary situation wasn't forever. Now, if you don't go work, don't get this as a feel-good message. If your ass is comfortable, you take a break, you go home early, you come in late, you're going to struggle for a while. It ain't going to work out. It ain't going to be okay. But if you're giving everything you got all the damn time, and you're always getting better, and you're coachable to the right people, and you're willing to say, okay, you're right. I can get better at that. You're right, I need therapy. You're right, I got an ego. You're right, I'm uncomfortable, up and down. You're right, man, I'm not mentally tough. You're right, I got to work on my attitude. You're right. If you're willing to find a good person in your life that's winning, that's willing to tell you the damn truth, and you're willing to take it and break and destroy your freaking insecurity and your bad habits and your negative thinking and your ego and all that bullshit that you got to deal with that we all deal with, if you're willing to find somebody like that in your life and you're giving everything you got, man, your life is going to be so freaking beautiful on the back end. Nobody's ever going to own you. Nobody's ever going to tell you where to be, what time to be there. If you can make your kids' graduation, you can make your kids' ceremony, you can make your kids' freaking field trip, you can make the vacation, you can take care of your family, you can cut the bill. When your mom and dad call you and like, hey son, this happened, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. That's okay. Or when it's like you go to the shopping center and the bill's $1,000 at Costco, don't worry about it. Or hey, you know what, man, work is slow. Don't worry about it. Or you know what, babe, I don't think I want to work anymore because, you know, we got the kids and I want to spend more time and I don't want to not be able to pay attention to them. Don't worry about it. When you can do that for your family because you busted your ass, man, it feels so damn good. When nobody can own you, when you fight those battles and you don't give up, it feels so damn good because you start to believe in yourself. And that's not something you can buy. That's something you have to earn, that self-respect with you. And so I want to make this video because when you're going through the grind, man, you don't appreciate it. You're not grateful for the grind, but when you get out of it, those are going to be the stories that you tell to help encourage other people. I hope this video encouraged you to keep going. If you found value in it, please subscribe, like, share. We'll see you on the next video, everybody.